Hello, welcome to Signs You Are channel. I'm Catherine Bird, and I am super excited to be here with you today. I am a channel. I train channels. I work with channels and healers, coaches, therapists, psychics, people who are in these service professions where we're dealing with energetics and spiritual realities. And so my focus is truly in training people to be able to handle their energy bodies, what's coming up for them in their businesses and practices, and to do this work in a very safe, effective, and easeful way for the system that they have, and to start to break down some of the underlying awarenesses around energy work, around working with spirits and the spirit realms, and around being what we are and who we are, and bringing that out into the world. These are the things I'm so super passionate about, and I'm excited to be here with you today in this conversation about channeling. I'm just going to close a couple things here, make sure that I'm not going to be disturbed. Yeah, that'll be better. So just to let you know a little bit more about me and my experience is that many years ago when my channel opened and things started coming through, it was intense and messy and loud and disturbing and confusing and overwhelming, and all of the ings, all of the things that could be going on in this experience. And it was a time in my life when I was forced to go into deep study, into personal development, into healing, into work on myself, and to figure this stuff out, to understand it. And I didn't have a lot of mentors and guides that were able to explain to me what was happening to me or how to manage it, how to handle it. And I had to actively seek out and search people to focus on different areas. So focusing over here on meditation, and over here on energy work, over here on personal energy practices, over here on healing the physical body. And all of those things I have been slowly weaving together into my own practice that I utilize with my clients and with my students, and then teaching these practices and these awarenesses that I've been collecting and working on and working through and bringing through for many years. So to let you know that my own path of being a channel, of being a healer, of doing this work was not easy and was very challenging. And so if you feel like maybe you're in that space a little bit, I just want you to know you're okay. I got you, and you're going to be fine. If right now you feel overwhelmed by what's going on or coming through you, know that you're supported, that there is a lot more information out there than when I started this thing. There is a lot more support, and there's a lot more awareness and a lot more community. And that's something that I'm really passionate about and excited about, is building communities of people to support each other, because we all have individual gifts and skills, and we're all at different rates of development and growth, and supporting each other is really important. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about channeling and what this means. There are many types of mediumship and channeling, and I'm going to use these words interchangeably. A lot of times I will use the word channeling in my marketing and so on, because people can relate to someone being a channel. Often mediumship is seen as just talking to dead people, but mediumship, channeling, these are the same things. Channeling is actually a form of mediumship. So every individual is receiving to by their own capacity, their own abilities. We all have very different abilities when it comes to this. And that is why it can be very confusing, because often we look outside of ourselves and we see, maybe we look at Abraham Hicks, or we look at Bashar, or we look at anyone that you see that's doing some kind of this work. And we go, well, but it doesn't look exactly like that, or it doesn't sound like that, or that's not quite my experience, but I'm having this other experience. And so I'm not really sure if that's what's happening to me or that's what I'm doing. And then we kind of are in this wishy-washy space where we're in the experience of, oh, something's happening to me, instead of in the experience of, this is what I am doing, consciously offering my consent, being available because I say I'm available, and doing this in a very conscious manner. A lot of people are unconscious mediums or channels. They're not aware of what's happening in the spirit realms and the effect that spirits have on us. It's inherent. It's inherent to humanity to be connected to the spiritual realms and to have some sort of ability to connect, to bring through information, to have an understanding of the spiritual realms. And throughout history, throughout time, and all over the world, there has been connection to the spiritual realms. And there have been people who, through differing means, whether it's through trance-inducing means, through drumming, through singing, through fasting, through medicines and psychedelics, through all kinds of experiences that we can go through in order to activate and open the channel. And some people are just more open than others, but it is possible for everyone to step into this work in some manner and in some way. It's just that often we think that what we're doing isn't that. We think that, oh, well, is that really what that is? And then how do I study it? How do I evolve? How do I advance if I'm not quite sure that what I'm doing is what other people are doing, because it doesn't quite look like that? So that's where we get stuck a lot in the beginning of this work. A lot of doubt, fear, worry, confusion. We're in this space a lot at the beginning. So, if any of you have ever felt that, maybe just chat in, raise your hand a little bit and go, yeah, that's totally been me, or is me at this moment. It's important that we know that this is part of the process. This is part of who we are in in this work, is confusion at some points. And we tune into beings that are resonating at whatever frequency that we're resonating based on our thoughts and our actions. So there are a lot of mediumistic people who are actually channeling through beings that are quite in the realm of the shadow, in the realm of darker beings, these beings that are connecting to them through anger and rage and fear, addiction. A lot of people who are trapped in that world are actually engaging in mediumistic practices unknowingly, unconsentingly, unwillingly in some ways, but willingly, working with beings that are encouraging more of the same. They're encouraging more of that. And so those of us that wish to be conscious about this, we are looking at how we can be connecting to beings that are actually helping to raise and uplift our vibration and our frequency in a way that's going to support us to connect to even higher and higher and higher realm beings, to bring through profound wisdom, healing, and evolution for our humanity, for ourselves, obviously, and also for humanity at large. And there are a lot of people who are on the planet right now who signed up for this. You signed up for it before you were born. And it's hard to fall away from something that you signed up for before you were born, but we do. We fall away from this path because of fear, things that happened in our childhood that were scary to us, through our parents and our peers, our families shaming us or scaring us, through religion really messing us up when we start to have experiences that don't fit within the context of the religion that we're growing up in, and we're again shamed or we're offered fear. And then also through media. So we see a lot of scary spirit stuff in movies, and we don't want to be involved in that. So we can shut down our abilities a lot when we're children. There are 9 forms of mediumship and channeling. And in Open Your Channel, I go deep fully into what these forms are and more about them. But when we start to think of that, this includes all the clairs, the clairaudience, so smelling, tasting, feeling, knowing, hearing, seeing, psychometry, which is pulling information off of objects. Let's see, what else? Psychography, which is channeled writing, and then trance and incorporation channeling. So that's a lot. So I just threw at you a bunch of words and a lot of ways that we connect. And if you want to do more study on that, that is to come. But that's a lot. And when we start to look at that many ways that we connect to spirits, to the spirit realms, that many ways that we receive information, and each one of us can have this weaving, winding road through all of those. And we might have 1 or 2 that are more specific and stronger for us. And we can practice and develop skill in the ones that we're less sure of or just haven't been doing. But that's a lot of ways for information to come through. As channels, we are these beacons. We are a radio receiver, and we are bringing something in, and we're going through the process of translating it. And so a lot of times people think that it comes through and it comes in, and like we hear something and then we say it. And this can happen. This is one form of mediumship. But for many of us, there is a sensation of something is just coming out, or there's something coming in and I'm going through this very challenging process at first, often gets better over time, confusing process of being a translator. It's like trying to translate from a language that maybe you've never even heard before. And just through the process of feeling into, so you meet someone who you don't know their language, you've never been to their country, you don't know their language at all, but through being in contact with them, through their way that they're signaling with their hands and their face and their emotions and what they're slowly getting information to you, and you're translating it. Oh, okay, that's what they mean. That's what they mean by this. Oh, I'm guessing. Sometimes I'm guessing wrong. How does that feel in my body? Oh, no, that's right. That's right. That's right there. You know, we are a receptive vessel that is moving information from one place to another, from the spiritual realm to the physical, more mundane reality. And that's like the basics. That's the gist of it. And when we break it down to be that simple, then we go, oh, okay, it's not that complicated. It's not that outside the realm of possibility when we start to look at it in the way that it is truly. The difference in, what we're doing is whether you're trained or untrained, whether you're aware or unaware. Because like I said, there's influence everywhere. And it's the choice of who you're being influenced by based on your thoughts, based on your intentions, your invocations, and your actions, what you're doing in life. If you're living a prayerful, light-filled, very conscious life, or if you're living a very unconscious life of very negative thought forms, because we're operating within the realm of thought forms. We're taking spiritual information and we're taking an energy transfer, we're taking it through a thought form, and then we're bringing it into words and actions. It's moving through our system to create something on this side, which might be a written document, channeled writing. It might be healing work and working with doctor spirits and doing healing work on someone or ourselves. Or it might be words. It might be channeled information coming out of our mouth. Or it can just be energy, right? It can just be something like that healing energy. It can just be a presence. And if you've ever been in the presence of someone who is channeling something through, sometimes the words and the information is not really the juice of what you're getting. You're getting this other stuff. You're getting a system shift and upgrade. It's just the words are there. Sometimes I've heard it come through that the words are sometimes there just to distract the mind enough to allow the energy to settle within us. So that's a lot. It's a lot of information. Do you guys resonating with this? Do you feel like maybe this has been a part of who you are? Let's look at some of these signs and some of these symptoms of being this and naturally, right? And I am saying that every human being has the ability to do this in some way. Sure, there are people with radical personality disorders who probably can't, and for whatever reason, and there are people who shouldn't, based on extreme mental health issues, without doing a lot of other therapeutic work and getting support in other ways. Because not all channeling is for real. A lot of it is coming from the person, but real channeling is coming from something else, and we are the translator of that information. So what are some of the signs maybe that you've had in your life? Number one is that there is just a innate interest in the spirit realms and in the spirit world or in God. I know that in a lot of my clients, they've told me stories about when they were little, and even though they were growing up in maybe a not very religious home, they had a lot of interest in God or Jesus. Like I've had clients who are like, yeah, I forced my family to pray to Jesus, and we didn't go to church. We weren't a religious family, but I was really obsessed with Jesus. Or I would pray to God all of the time, or I was very interested in angels or in fairies and in mythical creatures and mythical beings. I was obsessed with my imaginary friends. These are signs that as a child, there was something going on and something coming up. Also, if as a child you were having experiences with ghosts, with there's something under my bed, there's something in my closet, there's something following me, I'm talking to my grandma who died a lot. These are also signs that you're very close to that realm as a child, and you might have consciously shut these abilities off due to the reasons that I stated earlier. So it's important to remember your childhood. It's important to remember like who you were as a child. What were your interests? What were the things that made you a little bit weird and a little bit different? Were you aware of things that were going on in the home or with other people, with their health and well-being, with your friends that you really maybe shouldn't have known? And a lot of times if children know things that they shouldn't know, parents will come down on them for that, and they will be upset with them for having that awareness and tell them to stop doing that or saying that or whatever that is. When we shut down these abilities as children, it can lead to a lot of issues with depression, anxiety, and physical illness. The unexplained illnesses are often connected to unexpressed psychic and channeling gifts. So if you've had those issues, this is something to also be aware of and look at. Now, just the psychic abilities, the things that are subtle. So you might think that psychic abilities are blast you in the head and super bright and vivid and technicolor and voices, and you hear through your ears and everything. But it's the subtle things. It's the subtle knowings, the seeing things out of the corner of the eye, the having an awareness to do something that maybe you really shouldn't have known to do, to know when people are going to call. It's the tiny little subtle psychic things that we often play off and we don't pay attention to. So if you're someone who has had in the past or is having now a lot of synchronicities and things that are coming together and you're like, okay, that's weird. Really, if you say that's weird a lot, this is a good sign that you are a channel. That's weird. Why did that happen? Oh, I'm weird. Oh, I'm weird. This is generally where people start. I'm a weirdo. I'm weird. I'm just a weird person. I don't know why I'm so weird. Stop calling yourself weird. You're not weird. You're amazing. And you're incredible. And you happen to have some different awarenesses than other people. So also, if you're able to drop deeply into a flow state, and this can be at any time. So a lot of artists and musicians are channels. So if this is something that you do or have done in the past, this is a way that channeling comes through, and you might produce something or write something in a very wow, I started this project and I didn't stop and I went for hours, and then there's the completed thing. And a lot of times there's that experience of, that's actually better than I think that I should be able to do. That is incredible that I could do that. Okay, that's kind of, okay, that's interesting. Wow, where did that come from? That sounds amazing. I must be a genius. Yes, you're a genius. And maybe you got a little bit of help. So that ability to drop into a flow state is a sign of a natural channeling experience, a mediumistic experience that you might be having. Another sign is that when you drop into meditation, that your body moves a lot or has weird motions against the weird movements and sounds. Things come up or want to come up, and maybe you stop them. You shut it down, or you have a lot of maybe, I don't know if it's fear, but you don't want to do it. You have resistance. So you have resistance to things like meditation. You have resistance to it. An active something comes up in you when you think about doing it, or when you start to do it. Maybe even there's some anxiety around it. And this might be because your system naturally will want to open to a place where it can bring through information and is connecting, and yet you're not sure how to do it, or you're not sure the process, or you're not sure what's safe, or you're not sure all of the things. And so you kind of and it becomes more and more challenging. And then you just give up, I'm just not a meditator. It's just not for me. I'm just not that guy. I don't do that thing. So when I first started to meditate, it was a crazy show. It was like the friggin' circus in my house. And I did not know what the heck was going on. And there was a lot of speaking in tongues and flopping about and shaking and intense feeling. Lots of movement would happen. And I'll just tell you right now that if this is coming up for you, if this is happening, don't stop the movement. Don't stop the sound. It's the stopping of everything that keeps us constricted. It keeps the energy field from expanding, and it keeps the channel from opening. So this is huge tip. Underline, stars. Don't stop the weird. Don't stop the weird is the name of the game today. Don't stop the weird. Let the weird flow. It's part of the process. It is often quite non-graceful at the beginning. So let the weird flow. So also another sign that this might be you is that you have family, you have ancestral connection to this. So maybe your mom, or usually it's through the feminine line, and there are a lot of male channels. So, you know, and I actually have a lot. It's interesting that I have so many men who are interested in channeling work and doing channeling work. But a lot of times it does come through the feminine line. But looking at, especially going back to like grandmother, great grandmother, when things were a little more acceptable that you would have these spiritual abilities, looking at people in your family that maybe have some psychic abilities or some knowing abilities. This stuff runs in families. So just know that you might be more inclined if you have people in your family who are also doing this kind of work, whether they know it or not. Let's say another sign is that your friends say to you that you always have the right thing to say, or you're kind of the go-to person for people, that they're like, oh, how did you know that? Oh, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Or you are so right about that. That is, you're spot on. How did you even know that? Being that person for people sometimes means that you actually are kind of dropping into that state, and you're sort of just getting little gumdrops of stuff. And we think sometimes that this has to be such a challenging skill, and we have to work so hard at it that we don't recognize when it's already happening in our lives. Another sign is that you might drop into a certain space where you're talking about something to someone, and usually maybe it's in a space where you feel really safe, you feel really held. Maybe it's late at night and you're snuggling with your partner, or you are with a friend, or whatever the experience is, but you feel very safe and you kind of drop into another realm of consciousness, and you start to speak in a way that feels unlike you, that feels a little smarter than you think you are, that feels like an overwhelming sense of calmness, of peace, of stability, and of knowingness that washes through you. And in those moments, you might come to enormous clarity about something in your life, or be able to support someone else with some enormous clarity for their life. And this can also be a sign that you are actually bringing through information. So there are, like I said, there's all of these different ways that we're bringing through information, that we're connecting to the spiritual realms, and we're getting ourselves to be able to be that translation place, that bowl of that bowl that is holding the information, and then learning how to bring it forward and to bring it through in the ways that you most resonate with. Your individual system will resonate with different ways. It will be easier to do certain ways than others. Now, as you're doing this, what's happening is that you will be, or are at this moment, I'm assuming that you are in this process right now, you will be undergoing energetic, physical, spiritual shifts. And these can be quite intense. These upgrades to your system where your vibration is actually shifting and changing. In order for you to be reaching these higher realm beings, your vibration actually has to raise. It has to shift. And so as you start doing this work and working with these beings and working with these different energies, you are cultivating relationships with beings that are now supporting you to more easily translate the information. And at first, when it's all confusing and messy and weird and uncomfortable and exhausting, it has a lot to do with the system being the shift happening within the energy bodies, with the blocks coming through the physical body, even through the channels and the meridians, the detoxification of the body system, the detoxification of the organs, and of the emotions that are being held within the fields, both the physical and the energy fields. And this process can be, like I said, exhausting. It can really make you need to sleep a lot. It can require you to need a complete upgrade to your nutrition and what you're eating, what you're bringing in, the total change in diet sometimes people go through in one way or another, maybe more plant-based. Some people have to start eating meat than they never did before. And you start to experience changes in your physical body, even in the plates of the head, as these pieces start to open for the information to come in, to the skull in the back. So there's often a lot of shifting that happens in the actual plates of the skull. There's shifting that's happening in the decalcification of the pineal gland as you're doing this work. There's shift that's happening in the physical body, because the physical body is important to the process of being a channel. And a lot of people don't understand or think about the physical body in its relationship to channeling, and don't see that that is really important. But in my work, I feel that the physical body we are a channel. We are a physical being on planet Earth. We're bringing the information through a physical body. And so our physical body has to realign itself. That the channel, there's no joke when we're saying the word channel, that there's something moving through. And so the physical changes that must occur within the body, along with what's happening within the energy fields, that must occur in order for the vibration to raise, in order for there to be a releasing of a lot of past life issues, childhood issues, emotional blockages, all of these things. You think about that, it's insane what we're putting ourselves through in some regard. It's intense, it's a lot. And what we are doing is going through a full system upgrade. So if you feel like, wow, I'm bringing through information, or I'm doing the deepest work I've ever done, and I kind of feel like shit, it's okay. It's part of the process. And it is part of a reorganization down to the tiniest atoms. I was going to say cells, but it's like the atoms of your being. So just know that there are a lot of changes that are occurring. And I don't know, anybody having any of those great symptoms and needs to be taking care of themselves on a totally new way, at a totally new level. And that requires an enormous amount of consciousness for us to be honoring of the channel as much as we are honoring God, as much as we are honoring Great Spirit, as much as we are honoring whoever your favorite, most hell yes angel that you got your connection to, as much as we're honoring the earth, to be honoring our physical, emotional, mental, energetic bodies in all things. So this work's no joke. It requires a lot of introspection, of awareness, of consciousness, of change and shift, and it doesn't stop. I'm constantly like, okay, am I really ready to upgrade and do this next thing? I don't really want to. I don't want to stop doing this, little thing that I like to do that brings me comfort and keeps me small, or I still want to eat gummy bears. But there is a need to be consistently shifting the field and consistently showing up in a stronger way, more powerful way, so that the next level of beings, we're stepping into it. We're ready for the next upgrade. We're ready for the next phase of our evolution. So how do you advance in this work? Well, number one, you have to have an understanding of what's happening in the energy body, the physical body, the spiritual realms with spirits, who they are, what they're doing, why they're there, where they're at, how to call them in, how to work with them, how to let them go, when to do it. There's so many levels and layers to this work. So there's a lot of context and understanding that people are unaware of. I was totally unaware of it. I flopped about in this work for a long time, and I was lucky enough. I mean, I had amazing teachers and my spirit guides that were supporting me through this process. And, I'm like a study it kind of girl. So I've been going through this process of really studying this for a long time, so that I can help support those of you who are on this path and who are working with these frequencies, so that you can do it sustainably and effectively and safely, is so important to me. It's a reason. It's my reason for being here. It's what I came to do. This is what I came to do. So this is one of the things that we have to do in order to be a good channel. In order to advance on the path, we have to understand the concepts, and we have to understand the history. We have to understand what is known from different lineages, from different places. We have to understand all of those so that we can start to have a greater awareness of what it is we're doing, so that we're very precise and we are always knowing that we're safe and we're protected and we're held within this work. We have to train ourselves so that we're effective, that what we're doing is actually helpful, because we can bring through information all day long. We can channel things and connect to beings and but is it helpful? Is it helpful for you? Is it making your life better? Is it making other people's lives better? Is it helping the collective? Is it helping humanity, what you're doing? And if it's not, then who cares? What's the point? Why would we do it? There's no reason. So as we're training ourselves and going through the training process, this is important, that we're consciously being in this. Okay, is this helpful? Is it true? We have to go through a training process so that we can go, oh, yes, true, beep, true, beep, this is true, not true, true, not true. And that's where we sit a lot in the beginning, where we're like, I don't know, is it true, is it not true? I have no idea. But to be able to have enough awareness and enough practice, which is the next thing that we need practice. We need to practice. this stuff doesn't just happen, on occasion. It becomes a regular thing. It becomes a regular practice. And to understand ways to practice that are going to be supportive to your body, to your energy body, the process of, okay, where do I start? Do I start over here with channeling Jesus, or do I start over here doing this other stuff? Like this process that makes it easy for us to assimilate this through our lives, for us to be able to do this on the regular basis. And so that we're safe. Safety is really important. A lot of us look at, we're the love and light crowd. So we're like, everything's light, everything's one. And we miss out on the opportunity to understand more deeply the real workings of the spirit realms and the real workings of what's going on in the world. If you look around you and you look at humanity, which is the physical manifestation of what's happening everywhere, that we have access to at this moment and can be aware of, not everything is light. And that's okay. It's okay that not everything is light. And, in the grand scheme of things, everything is light. Our greatest teachers are often demons, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And there are procedures and protocols that help us to remain safe and protected in this work. And without that, we can be at risk. And I know that there are people who have had experiences that have turned not so great. And so it's important for us to be aware of all of those things. So our training, our education of the concepts and the information and what is real, and then our understanding of that, and then practice and practice and practice and practice, so that we can get really good at this and do what we came here to do. This year, after Open Your Channel last year, I've been running an Open Your Channel practice community where every month we're working with different beings. And this is sometimes been quite challenging for, I think, everyone in the group, and very rewarding for everyone in the group, because we start to see that we have the ability to connect to all of these different beings in these different ways. And running up on time here, and I want to honor your time. But I just want to tell you, so if you're interested in training in this work, if you're interested in practice, if you're interested in understanding the concepts of what this work is all about, I am encouraging you and creating an offer for you to join Open Your Channel. And it is an 8-week online course, which is going to have 4 modules that we are going to be working with on opening and grounding in the channel, on sustaining the channel. There will be meditations to work with. The classes are going to be online, and they'll be fun with slides and pretty pictures and everything that you'll have access to after that. There'll be questions and inquiries to go into, and there's going to be live coaching calls, so you can tune in with me and get feedback. And then at the end of the program, there's actually going to be a live channeling call where we're all going to drop in and channel and practice in front of our community. There's a Facebook community for this, so you'll be supported as you're going through this process to be able to talk to people about something that maybe you haven't talked to anybody about before, but you've had interest in, or you've been doing for a while. So this is for people who are interested and unsure, but have some spark. And this is also for people who have been channeling and doing this work and want to master it, and want to go to the next level, and want to have more information, and want to be able to support their communities, their clients in doing this kind of work as well. This is a really good program for that. And then there is an Open Your Channel retreat, which is epic. Michelle Hawk, my dear shaman sister, is going to be coming down to help facilitate that. We will be going through the 9 forms of channeling. We'll be working with Dr. Spirits on healing work. We'll be doing channeled writing, we'll be speaking in tongues, we'll be doing it all. All of the things that we learn in the program and touch on in the program, we'll be doing. Every single person will have a chance to practice these skills. And what I've seen from the retreat is that people who were like, oh, that's not really me, like I had an interest and I'm not really sure, but I don't think I can do that thing, are like, yeah, I just did that thing. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I feel good. I feel safe. I feel awesome. This is amazing. I love it. I'm good at this. And it gives you a level of confidence and clarity and certainty that's hard to get any other way, because a lot of times when we're doing this on our own, it's like, am I? I don't know. But to have a community to be able to be with you, hold the container, reflect with you is vital and important. And I'm really seeking to create that both in the online course, so that I have added some pieces into that with the coaching and the channeling calls and so on. So it feels much more supportive if you can't make it to the retreat. And so you can just do the course, or you can do the course and the retreat. You can't just do the retreat. You have to do the course first. So if you're interested in the retreat, sign up for the course, and you can do the course and the retreat. And if you're interested in the Open Your Channel practice community, which will happen again next year, where we work with different beings every month with a teaching and a meditation and then a channeling call every month, then you have to go through the course. So if that is like something, if you really want to practice this, if you really want to get good at this, then just sign up for the course. I am offering early bird pricing. So if you are interested in this, I would jump on that. And if you are in need of a payment plan or of scholarship opportunity, partial scholarship opportunity, reach out to me right away. I'll be sending you out an email with all this information, and you'll be able to, I'll send you a link and you can sign up. And if you have any questions, just reach out and let me know. Send me a private message on Facebook, or send me an email to catbird711@gmail.com. I'm super easy to find and get in touch with. And I'll be sending out this information within the next couple of days. So I hope that this has been helpful and that you've found value in this class. Also, the next master classes are going to be the intuitive or accidental channel, channeling for healers, and then the anatomy of channeling. So talking a lot more about the physical and energetic aspect of this. Many blessings, lots of love, and just know wherever you're at on this journey, you got this, you're okay, and I'm here to support you. If you need some help, just reach out. I'll talk to you soon.